Okay, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or you actually really did think that we were just a wasteland in South Africa. But I figured I'd share some stories with you guys in South Africa and in America about the things that people say here. My daughter had a kid at school ask her if we have trees in South Africa, and she's like, "Yeah, we have trees. Why would you ask that?" He's like, "Oh no, I didn't think you guys had any trees there." So I don't know what this little kid had an image of in South Africa, but I told her, like, if anyone says things like that, to educate them, to show them, to tell them, explain to them. So I don't know if she is. I hope she is. We went to the zoo the other day, and one of the chaperones asked me, like, hey, how did you find the traffic getting here? And it must be crazy for you to experience this traffic now. And I'm like, no, we got worse traffic in South Africa, in Johannesburg, where I lived. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? And I'm like, she's like, is it busy, the roads? I'm like, yeah, we have 6-lane freeways. That's how much traffic we get. And she was shocked. She had no clue we even had freeways, and she admitted that. She felt bad, and she admitted that. She says, no, I didn't even know you guys had freeways. Then her next thing was like, it was a hot day. She's like, oh, you must be used to this heat. Africa must be so hot. And I had to explain to her that Africa is the continent, South Africa is the country, and yes, there are places in Africa that's extremely hot, but South Africa has beautiful weather year round. We very rarely have a heat wave. And she was shocked about that because in their minds, Africa, blistering hot, dirt roads, animals in your backyard kind of thing. And that's what she's thought all this time. And she's a 60 something year old woman. But at the same time, people, the internet exists. You can Google these things if you wanted to. But in her defense, why would she Google anything from South Africa? I don't know. Um, my own mother in law. I'm gonna put my mother in law on blast right now. Anyways, this one's funny because I made some South African friends here in Milwaukee, and I met the one within the first like 2 weeks of me being here. I met her for coffee, for breakfast, and I was telling my mother-in-law I'm meeting this person from South Africa, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're making friends, whatever." So the day after I met my friend, and I had posted pictures on Facebook stories, she asked me, she's like, "Did you end up meeting that friend of yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I posted the pictures. Didn't you see?" She's like, "The pictures you posted yesterday." I'm like, "Yes." She says, "But she's not dark skinned. So she's South African?" I'm like, "Yes." I had no clue that my mother in law, all these years, I've been married to her son for 12 years. And we lived in South Africa for 5 years. Her son lived in my country for 5 years. I had no clue my mother in law thought that South Africans are all dark skinned people. And then I asked her with a follow up question, I'm like, "Did you think Justin was like one of the only white people in South Africa?" She's like, "Well, yeah." My mother in law is. Oh, anyway, she has also in the past asked me if we have American food. And I'm like, "Yes, you can get burgers and steaks and wings and everything. Wherever you want to, you can get it." She also once at one point asked me if we have ice cream in South Africa. Um, and I had to tell them, like, someone was telling the other day, one of the moms at school, and I was telling them how much I miss South African food, like, and I meant like all the foods in South Africa, not particularly African food. And she's like, "Oh, what was the kind of food you guys ate every day in Africa?" And they still say Africa, not South Africa. And I'm like, "Oh no, we have lots of kind of foods." And I'm telling her that it's Italian, Portuguese, Greek, and Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, Indian. And she just stood there staring at me. She says, "Well, I just learned something new because I had no idea." I was like, go. I actually told them, like, go Google South Africa and see how many cultures are there, how many countries have influence over our cuisine there. And she was shocked. Like, I would love to stop. You know what? I think I'm going to do a TikTok about it. I think I'm going to do a TikTok about it. I think I'm going to go up, unless I get smacked by someone. I think I'm going to go up to random people one day in a mall and be like, when you hear the words South Africa, what do you think? And I'm curious to see what they think. I'm so curious to see what, or to hear what their thoughts are on South Africa and what they think we have and don't have. Like, I'm pretty sure people think we don't have grocery stores, malls, schools that are like every other school in America except the drop off line thing that I posted the other day. I'm curious. It's fascinating though. I love educating people on my country and telling them how beautiful it is and showing them pictures because there's so many people that have no clue that South Africa is a developed country. But anyways, James McGill, I love Better Call Saul, by the way, nice name. South Africa is not just a wasteland. We are actually a very developed city. Bye.